ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ वर्स 30 निषिद्य निखिलोपाधीन् नेति नेतीति वाक्यतः विद्यादैक्यं महावाक्यैः जीवात्मपरमात्मनोः। So Shankaracharya ji has been dealing with this central topic of Atmabodha. Namely, we call it as a Jnana Yoga, in which two things are there, Shravanam and Mananam. And so verse number 16 to 31 is discussing this Shravanam and Mananam. And of course I have defined earlier also what is Shravanam, what is Mananam. So, and I have introduced also verse number 30 in the morning, in which Shankaracharya ji pointed out that the equation, that is that Mahavakya which reveals this Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam, and that leads to the knowledge of the self. So through Mahavakya only one will know one's own nature. And all other topics basically in the Vedanta are just centered on this Mahavakya, to grasp this Mahavakya. So Mahavakyaihi Jivatma Paramatmanoho Aikyam Vidyat. Vidyat, may you know. Vid dhatu is there. Vid means to know. From there the word Vedaha also has come. Veda means a body of knowledge. So Vidyat, may you know, it's a potential mood. So Mahavakyahi Vidyat, may you know through Mahavakya. It's a Tritiya Vibhakti. What is that Mahavakya? Jivatma Paramatmanoho Aikyam, which reveals the identity between the individual and the Brahman. So individual is equated with the limitless. Individual is limitless. Therefore, well, don't worry. Don't bring sorrow in your life. You are not limited. You are limitless. That's what they want to convey. You are limitless. So have a joy. Get released. I am time bound, I am this, I need a lot of things, etc., etc. You know, nobody cares for me, nobody loves me, I did a lot of things for the entire family, now nobody cares. So this is all limitation. This is emotional limitation, physical limitations are there. Swamiji, I cannot get up once I sit down, or once I get up I cannot sit down, whatever. I mean, all these limitations are there. But limitations are not centered on the self. You are just a consciousness, and therefore, well, you and Brahman, they are just one entity. There is nothing called Jivatma is non-separate from Brahman, etc., etc. Nothing. You and Paramatma are one alone. Only you consider yourself a different from Paramatma, limitless Paramatma, because of ignorance. And so, well, drop this. Remove the ignorance through the knowledge, and drop the notions also of the limitations pertaining, which are born from the ignorance. So basically, and there are so many Mahavakyas, hundreds of Mahavakyas are there in four Veda. We have taken we take an example of 4 Vakyas, that's all, from each Veda. So, Aham Brahmasmi from Shukla Yajurveda, and that is Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And then Ayam Atma Brahma from Atharva Veda, that is Mandukya Upanishad. And then Prajnanam Brahma from Maitreya Upanishad, that is Rigveda. And Tattvamasi, etc. Well, Chandogya, that is Samaveda. So we just take one sample. The very Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is Mahavakya. In Bhagavad Gita, the several Mahavakyas are there. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Well, in all these shariras, I alone am there. Oh, no, but in all shariras, jivas are there, individual are there. No. I am there, Bhagavan says. Okay, so Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam. That's what there it is revealed. So anyway, there are several Mahavakyas in even in Bhagavad Gita also. And so in Veda also there are several Mahavakyas. So Shankaracharya ji says, may you inquire into that. Well, Aikyam Vidyat. But how to do that? How I am equated with Paramatma? There are so many discrepancies between me and Ishvara. Well, so that there are in different texts it has been discussed. So well, in Ram Gita also there is they have discussed this through Mahavakya how Aikyam can be arrived. So Jivatma or a Paramatma, either they basically have a 5 components. Jivatma has also 5 components. Paramatma also has a 5 components. When I say I, we have said in the morning, there are 5 components. So Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira and Karana Sharira are the Madhyam. I mean, this is all mediums, reflecting medium. And then reflection is formed. And then there is definitely a all-pervading consciousness also, which is, the all-pervading consciousness is reflected in that Sharira. So that is called basically this Chidabhasa. One thing I would like to clarify here, and which I did not do, that's a drawback on my part. Don't say Chidabhasa identifies with the body. Chidabhasa is an identification. Atma Anatma identification has brought Chidabhasa. Well, this Anatma or the bodies are superimposed upon Atma. A limited entity is born called Chidabhasa, which is a product of ignorance. Because of the superimposition is because of the ignorance. And therefore Atma Anatma identification from the Atma Anatma mixture, that Chidabhasa is formed. Don't say Chidabhasa is identified with the... Chidabhasa means identification. Because any reflection can never be separate from reflecting medium. And therefore Chidabhasa will always appear as per the medium. I have told you yesterday, so as your mirror is, so your reflection is. So suppose your mirror has so much of dullness. Some people have, when they take bath and water gets, their mirrors also become wet and they don't rub it. Then slowly, the water gets dry up and some salt, etc. And so whole mirror is very dull. So even though, your face is so bright, but it appears dull there. And it will be dull. It will be dull. Because Chidabhasa, or that is reflected face, and the mirror cannot be separated. So reflected face definitely immediately takes the attribute of the medium. You cannot make any change into that. That's how we say Chidabhasa or Jivas are so many types. We feel there are varieties in the Jivas. That is due to reflecting medium. And therefore Atma Anatma identification. Atma identifies with Anatma or Anatma is superimposed upon Atma, brings a mysterious entity called Chidabhasa. And it's a mysterious entity. And I have told you, because there can never be a mixture of Atma and Anatma. It is never possible. It's not possible. I want to bring a third entity which is formed from a mixture of light and darkness. It is impossible. That is how I call mysterious. And we have seen yesterday that whatever the attributes are there in a Chidabhasa, if you really analyze it, some of the attributes you have to give it back to Anatma. Some of the attributes, sentiency, etc., you will have to give it back to Atma. Then nothing left for Chidabhasa. The very Chidabhasa itself does not remain. Therefore, definitely it is formed from the mixture. So-called mixture, there cannot be mixture. It is formed from the mixture of Atma and Atma. That is how we say Chidabhasa is a product of ignorance. Basically, Atma cannot identify with Anatma, one thing. Second thing, Atma and Anatma cannot form such a mixture. There is another reason also. Because basically, there is nothing, a entity called Anatma. There is no entity called Anatma. Anatma basically, they appear, but really they are not there. All these bodies, etc., well, definitely they appear, but they are really not there actually. And therefore, it's of a lower order of a reality. Atma is alone Satyam. And all the three are mithya things. I have told you in the morning also, all the three are basically non-separate from the Atma. And therefore, there cannot be mixture. Mixture can be only formed between the two things of the same order of reality. Well, I can tell, so a waking boy and a dream girl cannot marry. A dream boy and dream girl can marry, but waking boy and waking girl can marry. But waking boy and dream girl cannot marry. So there cannot be a connection between them. Well, that waking boy may have a dream, that's a different thing. That's a different thing. They call dream girl, etc. Well, but that's a different thing. But what I am saying is such kind of a transaction, mixture, identification cannot be formed between two different orders of reality. That's how Chidabhasa or Jiva is a mysterious entity. It appears, it looks, it is there. On analysis, it cannot sustain the scrutiny. Jiva cannot sustain the scrutiny. Jiva, on scrutiny, on analysis, it resolves into Brahman. There is no entity called Jiva. Remember this, Jiva's existence is totally based on the ignorance. Totally based on ignorance. On account of ignorance, we are saying the Jiva exists. And the attributes of Jiva also. Kartrutvam, Bhoktrutvam, Jnatrutvam, all exist basically so long as you don't inquire. The moment you inquire, well, you will have to say, who was considering myself as a Jiva, is basically not a Karta, not a Bhokta, not a Jnata. Of course, that inquiry has to be done properly. And through the Vedanta, it's a Vedantic inquiry, and so means through the Shastra and the teacher, with the help of teacher, of course. That's a proper inquiry. If you don't do that proper inquiry, you will lead to something else. And that's another confusion. This confused Jiva itself is a confused entity, and it will lead to further confusion. And so basically, have a relaxation. There is nothing called Jiva. People think too much. What will happen? I know my children, they are not, they don't have Swamiji any Shraddha in any Shastra and everything. And I have to live only few years. After I will depart, whether they will do all these rituals or not, I don't know. And so much worry, that Jiva itself does not exist. But anyway, because of the ignorance, you feel it is a very real thing. Like on account of ignorance of the rope, the snake is so real that it will give you, a unreal snake can give you a real perspiration. A unreal snake can give you a real fear. Don't think fear is unreal. Fear is not unreal. Person just screams and gets up and he finds he's totally having lot of he's shivering also, thinking that in his home there is a cobra, etc. So what I'm saying is, unreal thing can create a real negative emotion. And that's how this waking world also, which is unreal, can create a real emotion, negative emotion out of you. Because I have certain negative emotions towards the people or objects or anything, does not prove that the objects are real. Then that is what we want to convey. And therefore, this is what the argument people give. Well, how can it then anger will be there, and how can a attachment will be there, and how can this will be there and that will be there, and therefore the objects must be real. Need not be. Unreal object also can bring the same kind of emotions, real emotions from you. And therefore, object should be real alone, that's not a criteria. But anyway, let's talk about this. Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira and Karana Sharira, well, they are the reflecting medium. And well, this reflected consciousness becomes a knower, we have seen yesterday. And even though I am not a knower, but I become knower on account of this getting reflected in this three sharira, and taking that reflected consciousness as myself, not knowing what is my real nature. And well, of course, the mediums are very very limited. Body, mind, sense complex, very limited. And therefore, well, as a knower also, as a reflected consciousness also, as a knower also, I am very limited. And therefore, this jiva is called alpagnaha, alpashaktiman, having a limited power, limited knowledge, etc. And Paramatma also has a 5 components. Here, let's take that way. And well, the whole physical universe is the body of a Ishvara. That is a gross body of Ishvara. And the subtle, whole subtle universe is it's a Sukshma Sharira of a Ishvara. And the causal body, that is Maya. Well, Paramatma also has 3 bodies. So Ishvara has 3 bodies. Let's take Ishvara as a 3 body. Gross body, that is this Vishwa. And the subtle body, that is the subtle universe. And a causal universe, that is Maya. Well, in that they are the reflecting medium for the consciousness. And then that reflected consciousness definitely also will be bigger. We call it as a macro. Because Paramatma the limitless consciousness get reflected into the bigger mediums. So here also 5 things, right? Physical universe, subtle universe, causal universe, and of course consciousness should be there, and plus reflected consciousness. So 5 things. And so here, well, then Ishvara, on account of that Chidabhasa, this kind of a Chidabhasa is called Sarvajna, because basically Ishvara is getting reflected in the Samashti. So Maya, through Maya, of course, other things. And so he is also called knower, but he is Sarvajna. I am also called knower on account of getting reflected, and so reflected consciousness is knower. Ishvara also is a knower, but he is a Sarvajna. I am Alpagnya because I am getting reflected in the mind. He is getting reflected in the Maya, and of course through Maya, through the causal Sharira, Samashti Karana Sharira, through that he getting reflected into subtle universe and entire physical universe also. So Paramatma becomes a Sarvagnya, Sarvashaktiman. We have discussed this in Panchadashi also, you know that. So difference between Jivatma and Paramatma now is very clear. Jivatma is a reflected consciousness, we have understood, getting reflected in the 3 bodies. Who is reflected? But consciousness, limitless consciousness, Brahman is reflected. And then Brahman becomes, Brahman is called Jiva on account of that kind of a Chidabhasa. And well, same Brahman getting reflected in this Samashti, the total physical body, physical universe, etc., or the Maya, and that Chidabhasa is called Ishvara. So, and then there is a difference between Jivatma and Paramatma. Alpagnya, Alpashaktiman, and Sarvagnya, Sarvashaktiman. So, why I am discussing is the differences between Jiva and Ishvara are on account of Chidabhasa. Right? Ishvara also is a Chidabhasa getting reflected in the 3 bodies. Jiva also is a Chidabhasa basically getting reflected in these 3 bodies. Here individual 3 bodies, that is a total. So differentiating attributes are basically are there because of the Chidabhasa. Not basic, both are essentially original, that's the consciousness alone, limitless consciousness alone. And that is why Shankaracharya ji says here, Nikhila Upadhi Nishidhya, Nikhila, all, Akhilam or Nikhilam, same thing. Upadhi, all these are Upadhis, all the 3 bodies. And so whether a physical universe or a physical body, a subtle universe or a subtle body, and causal universe, Maya or causal body, Ajnana, etc. Well, so all these are Upadhis. Nikhila Upadhi Nishidhya, may you negate all these differentiating factors from Jivatma and Paramatma. And what are they? All 4 from both the sides, except consciousness, right? So Sthula Shariram, Karana Shariram, and Sukshma Shariram, plus reflected consciousness. and plus consciousness, limitless consciousness, is equal to jiva. So 5 factors are there. Keep one thing. That is, why should I keep one, and why should I negate 4? I have already told you, and I will be telling you again also, but don't worry. But negate them. Negate them. All the 4 you remove it. And keep only original consciousness or limitless consciousness. That is Jiva's real nature. That we call it as a Tvampada Lakshartha. Why? How you have jumped into Lakshartha immediately? Why? Because Tvampada Vachyartha means Jiva, and it has 5 factors. The individual has 5 factors. 4 I have negated. And I have kept it 1. And that Lakshana is a Bhagatyaga Lakshana. Bhagatyaga Lakshana. I have removed a portion and certain thing I kept it. That is what Bhagatyaga Lakshana. And what I have removed? All the 3 bodies, reflecting medium and reflection from the Jiva. Same way from Ishvara also, all the 3 Prapancha, Sthula Sukshma Karana Prapancha and reflection, of course. And that also should be removed. Then on both the sides, what is left over is what? Just limitless consciousness, right? That is how they are equated. So basically, Tvampada Vachyartha has 5 factors. Tatpada Vachyartha, the Ishvara also has 5 factors. Remove 4 factors from both the sides. What we have removed? What is that Bhagaha? Bhagaha means what? Part. Part we have removed. That part is what? Basically, all the 3 bodies which are the reflecting medium and reflection. And they are mithya, and therefore I remove it. And so, well, definitely here also and in Samashti also. So remove the reflecting mediums, 3 bodies, and reflection also. And then you find, well, what is left over, that is Satyam Vastu. And that is Tvampada Lakshartha and Tatpada Lakshartha when they are equated now. And they are equal. Equated why? They are equal. There is nothing left but the consciousness. And Tatpada Lakshartha, that is Ishvara also is a consciousness, Brahman, limitless consciousness. And Tvampada also, well, the meaning of the Tvampada, implied meaning of the Tvampada also is a consciousness. So this is how it should be done. So here says, Sthul Nishidya Nikhilopadhin, all these upadhis, these are called upadhis. Basically, they superimpose their attributes also, and they superimpose themselves also. That is how Atma is considered as a physical body. So body itself is superimposed, and then dharma of the body, attributes of the body also are superimposed. And so once I say I am a human being, and then I say I am male, female, and I am black and white and whatnot, everything I superimpose. So that is why it is called Upadhi. Upadhi means which superimposes one's own dharma and oneself also. That is called Upadhi. And being near, the very Lakshana of Upadhi is it should be very near. So near. All the 3 bodies are so near to Atma. Atma is all pervading, and therefore everything will be very near. And how much near it is? It is like the wave is near to the water. That's how it is. So that is how. Wave is near to the water, or a gold is very, very, or a bangle is near to the gold. That's how all the 3 bodies are very near to the Atma. So all the time bring that. Near means don't think anything else. This is how it is. That is how they are negated. Definitely when I say, the bangle is very near to the gold, then I get a strength to negate what? Bangle. That's how I am negating all the 3 bodies. When I say these 3 bodies are very near to the Atma, then I gave you example, right? And then you feel, okay, then the 3 bodies should be negated. That's what I did. Bhagatyaga Lakshana. So remove it because they are mithya. They are Mayikam. I am going to explain again in the next verse, it is coming. They are Mayikam. Anything Mayikam we have to negate. Yeah, we should not get entangled into Mayikam. And so we have to come out of that. What is the reality we should know. Anyway, enjoy the Mayikam but not get entangled into that. That's all. How will you negate? Neti. See, it has even Shankaracharya says that. Nishidya Nikhilopadhin Neti iti Vakyatah. Neti. This neti iti means it is a quotation. Whenever iti comes, it is a quotation. Quotation from the Upanishad. So neti is from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. At four places in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it appears. Neti neti iti vakyatah, etc. So na iti, etc. Na iti. Negate. Na iti. Na. So neti is equal to na plus iti. So on account of that, on account of identification, the jiva is introducing himself or herself. Well, see, himself, herself. That idea itself has come due to that Chidabhasa. Himself, herself. How can a consciousness, that is how they give this, consciousness has all the three genders, really. Consciousness is called Atma, that is a Pullingam. Consciousness is called Chaitanyam, that is neuter. And consciousness is called Chitihi. It is in Strilinga. Same thing. Consciousness is called Chitihi. The Chitihi word appears in Lalita Sahasranama. Chitis tatpada lakshyartha chideka rasa rupini. In Lalita Sahasranama, addressing the Mataji, it says Chitihi. Tatpada lakshyartha. See? Tatpada lakshyartha. So, the Ishvara, or basically this goddess, whose nature is really, goddess is, it's a Vachyartha. Tatpada Vachyartha is a goddess, but Tatpada Lakshyartha is a Chaitanyam or Chiti. Anyway, so na iti, so basically, other than original, the consciousness, limitless consciousness, all other things are negated. And that's, to negate that, the na iti is there. Because na means negation. So you are not Sthula Sharira, you are not Sukshma Sharira, you are not Karana Sharira, you are not Chidabhasa. Four things are negated. And Ishvara also has been told, Neti. So Ishvara also, there are 5 factors. There also it has been told the same thing. You are not Sthula Prapancha. Don't show your Vishwarupa to us. Oh, I am this entire, I am Virat Purusha. He was telling to Arjuna, I am Virat Purusha. Mithya. See how we are so great. Even that Vishwarupa also we are negating. Vishwarupa, the entire this gross world, it's his body. That is how dhyana shlokas are there. If you see some of the dhyana shlokas of Vishnu, etc., you will find Bhagavan has been described in the form of this entire universe. Well, the sun and moon are their eyes, and then the Swarga is his head, and etc., and so many things. And all these trees and plants are the hair on his body, and these oceans are basically a bladder, and this earth is its feet, and and then in between, that what is it? Our antariksham is the middle part of the body, and so many things are there. And then this air is nothing but its prana. And this Agni, the fire, is its is mukham, it's his not face, but it is his mouth, etc. So many things are there, and this entire thing is a description of Ishvara in a Virat form. So that is a gross body. So we are telling Ishvara says I am Virat. Neti, we say no, you are not. And then says I am there, I am Hiranyagarbha. Well, no, you are not. Hiranyagarbha means Samashti Sukshma Abhimani Chaitanyam, we call as a Hiranyagarbha. So no. And this is a common sense. That entire gross world must have a subtle universe. If you are experiencing a gross universe, there is a subtle universe. And that entire subtle universe also, the same consciousness Brahman identify with the entire subtle universe. We call it as a Hiranyagarbha. Well, you are not even Hiranyagarbha also. Well, okay. Then I am Ishvara. Well, Maya, I identify with my Maya and become a cause of the entire creation. I am a creator, sustainer and resolver. No, naiti. So you are not that. And you are not, there means you are not getting reflected, you are not a reflection in these all three universes. Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, Prapancha. Karana, Prapancha means Maya. And so basically, ultimately, you are also a limitless consciousness. That is Tatpada Lakshyartha. Tampada Lakshyartha also we have arrived, and that is also limitless consciousness. And that is how. So that is how Shankaracharya says, Neti Neti iti Vakyataha Nishidya Nikhil Upadhin. All these Upadhis are negated by Upanishad. You cannot negate like that. You cannot negate. You don't have any license to negate anything. But Upanishad tells you to negate. Neti neti. So first neti is for negation of a Jivatma. And the second neti is for a negation of a Ishvara, basically Chidabhasa. Both are Chidabhasa, both are negated. And one neti brings to you Tvampada Lakshartha, other neti brings to you Tatpada Lakshartha. And Tvampada Lakshartha and Tatpada Lakshartha are just one thing alone, that is limitless consciousness. There are no two limitlesses. There are no two limitless consciousnesses. Therefore, I don't think there is a plural in consciousness. That is a very beautiful thing for us. And therefore, there is just one consciousness, which is limitless, in which all the things are non-separate and are there as a non-separate thing. And therefore, basically all the bodies are a gross universe, and of course, subtle universe, subtle body, causal universe, everything remains as a non-separate from this consciousness. You are such infinite consciousness, which you tell by the word I. I is this. I am is very common. I is this consciousness, am is this existence. And therefore, the consciousness is this limitless consciousness, which is one alone, and therefore, anyway, so now I am able to say, Aham Brahmasmi, etc. A teacher says, Tattvamasi, you are that, means you are that Brahman, from which the entire creation comes, etc. Well, I say, I am that Brahman. And this process is called, Mahavakya Vichara. And this is a Jnana Yoga. Shravanam Mananam is nothing but to arrive at the meaning of this Mahavakya. And we listen once, that will not be helpful. You will have to listen hundreds of times. Hundreds of times you have to listen to acclimatize this, basically intellect. And gradually basic idea is grasped. Little bit grasping, of course, happens. When grasping happens, doubt comes. People sometimes they feel proud that basically they don't have any doubt. From the class, they don't have any doubt. Means they are able to assimilate everything. That's a wrong thing. Once you start grasping, then you find the doubts are coming. So grasping and the doubts goes together. Therefore, then Swamiji, I am going to ask you several questions. No, don't ask me several questions. Well, but when you start grasping, when you don't grasp, no doubt. When you start grasping, doubts will come. So that's how in first Shravanam, no doubt. You listen to 1 hour and you just come out. And next class, no doubt. After few classes, you start what this Swami is telling. And therefore, basically, doubt will come. Definitely will come. Anyway, and so when doubt will come, doubt has to be resolved. That is Mananam. So you, while listening to Mahavakya itself, Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam, which is the main teaching. And that while doing analysis, that is Shravanam. And then doubts, etc. arises from that Shravanam, which is called Mananam. And after several Shravanam and Mananam, this Mahavakya will convey. Mahavakya settles. Meaning of the Mahavakya settles. After hundreds of, I am telling you, because we are listening day in and out. That's how I have to tell you. Hundreds of time you have to listen. Hundreds of time. Because I am different from Ishvara. It is so well rooted, and it is based on ignorance, and then ignorance is anadi, and therefore one has to keep on listening without getting tired. One has to keep listening day in and day out. Anyway, so Mahavakya conveys, so most of the people get tired, after few years of how many times I have to listen. Still I consider myself as a jiva. I think this is very beautiful, and this is very intellectual. But I don't think it is so practical, because ultimately still I consider myself as a jiva, a miserable entity, and the samsara just does not go, fear doesn't go, worry does not go, stress does not go. And therefore basically I feel this Shastra is not doing its job. Don't think so. Just keep on listening it. So this is how we have completed this verse number 30. Now the last verse in that Shravana Mananam is verse number 31, and that we'll see from 32 Nididhyasana etc. starts. So verse 31. Avidyakam shariradi drishyam budbhutavat etad vilakshanam vidyat aham brahmeti nirmalam. So in previous verse it is said Jivatma and Paramatma are essentially one thing alone. They are different from the standpoint of three bodies or reflecting medium and reflection. Both are different. Jiva and Ishvara are different from the standpoint of the medium and reflection. Reflecting medium and reflection. From that standpoint they are different. And what are the reflecting media? Shariratraya. What are the reflecting mediums for Ishvara? Well, definitely we say Prapanchatraya. And Chidabhasa, which is formed in the Prapanchatraya, is different from this Chidabhasa. And definitely from that standpoint, definitely Jiva and Ishvara are different. But they are essentially one alone after negation of what is Mithya, etc. So here the question arises is this, that there is in both Jiva and Ishvara 5 factors were there in each, and you have negated majority factors, and you are showing an identity just based on one factor. Well, always majority wins. So majority factor on the basis of majority factors, ultimately differences are there, and therefore Jiva and Ishvara are essentially different. You should not negate all the four factors from both the sides and keep one factor, and you highlight it and show that Jiva is Paramatma. Identity is the reality between the two. So how can you highlight this oneness, when differences are dominant? You cannot do that. Anyway, this is called Manana. You have listened, of course, the teacher, and teacher has done this job, Bhagat Tyaga Lakshana, etc. And so now you got a doubt. So this doubt has to be resolved. This is called Manana. So no doubt differences are there from Sharira Trayam or Chidabhasa. But differences are basically from the lower order of reality, and so they are Mithya in nature. And two reflections seen in two mirrors. One is a concave mirror and one is a convex mirror. Person is one, but if the mediums are two and both these mediums or the mirrors are of a different type, basically then you will find the reflections are different. In concave mirror, your reflection is different. In convex mirror, your reflection is different. And therefore, differences are experienced in a reflection but cannot be counted. You cannot count that since the reflections are different, well, there must be two people here. No, there is one person only. Depending upon the reflecting medium, different types of reflections are formed. But compared to the person, its reflection is Mithya. Definitely false entity. And therefore, that kind of a knowledge one need not give to anybody else. Even I am sitting in a place, in Ahmedabad there is a place called Balvatika. In that there is a mirror room, and they have arranged one table in the center, and it's a round, kind of a room in which they have put several types of mirrors, and you are one person sitting on the table in the center of that room, and you will find all types of reflection. In some of the reflection your face is too long, in some of the reflections your belly is too fat. You will feel like that I will not eat in the evening now. Therefore, so all this kind of thing, your legs become too short and face become too long, or face becomes very small and legs will be very long, like that. And then I was sitting and enjoying, and person has brought a tea. How many teas? You know very well. Yeah. Because there are so many reflections. And therefore, suppose 10 reflections are there and me, so 11 cups of tea. No, only 1 cup of. That shows. So this is very simple to understand. Reflections are Mithya. False entity is very simple to understand. And that is what we did. We have removed reflections, Chidabhasa, and we have removed reflecting mediums. But why should you remove reflecting medium? Reflection can be formed. If reflection is false, the medium also is equally false. Because reflection can be formed in a thing which is of the same order of a reality and of reflection. So if reflection itself is a false entity, the reflecting mediums also must be of the same order of reality, and that is, bodies are also equally false. Mithya, I mean. And therefore, that is how we have negated. So don't argue like this, that from both the sides you have removed, four factors. How dare you can do that? And you have just, and keeping one, just consciousness on both the sides, every other thing you have removed. So all the differentiating factors you have removed, in just to prove that Jiva and Ishvara are one alone. That's not correct. If you are arguing like that, we have done a correct thing, because what we have removed is the false entities, and false entities cannot be counted, and therefore we have removed it. Anyway, so Sthula Sharira and Sthula Prapancha fall within the Maya, and Sukshma Sharira, Sukshma Prapancha fall within the Maya, and Karana Sharira and Karana Prapancha not fall within Maya. Karana Sharira and Karana Prapancha are Maya, and therefore we have seen that, right? And so basically from Maya everything comes from Maya ultimately. So Sukshma Sharira comes from the Maya, and Sukshma Prapancha also comes from the Maya. Then gross Prapancha also comes from that subtle universe, and here also gross Sharira also is born from the subtle elements, etc. And therefore ultimately everything is ultimately, basically from Karana Sharira and Karana Prapancha we have removed, that is just a Maya, and other two things, Sukshma Sharira, Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Prapancha, Sthula Prapancha, all are born of Maya. So what we have removed is Maya and born of Maya, called Mayikam, we have removed. So 6 things we have removed, and the reflection which is formed in that Mayikam Vastu, that reflection is also Mayikam. Chidabhasa also is Mayikam, and Chidabhasa is a very mysterious entity, and so all 8 things we have removed, 4 from each, and so we have done a correct thing. So Mayikam is what? They appear like that, they are really not there. Anyway, and so we have removed that, and I have told you about this Mayikam. Mayikam is Mithya, and that's how even our magician is called Mayikam. He also shows varieties of the things. They appear, but in reality they are not there. Same thing. Ishvara also is a Mayari, a greater magician, and he also shows his entire Prapancha. And of course everything is Mayikam, basically Mithya. They appear, and they sustain themselves till you do inquiry through a teacher, Vedantic teacher, traditional teacher. Till then they definitely are there as a reality for you. Once you do that inquiry with the help of a teacher and the Shastra, you find they are just Mithya entities. That is the beauty of the Mithya thing, is this, that on scrutiny you will understand it has gone, but it will not go. It will remain throughout the life. Yeah, as an unreal thing they will remain. That's called Mithya. Yeah. So Swamiji, I have understood it is Mithya. So okay, so from tomorrow I will not have any kind of a body. I will float around. You don't think that way. You are not going to float. You will be inside. That baffles the people, This Mithya, it really baffles. Even though there are thousands of things in the creation, in fact, whatever you experience in the creation is Mithya. Whatever is object of experience is Mithya. Everything is Mithya. Start from your body. Thought is Mithya. Everything is Mithya. Whatever is experienced by you as a conscious being is Mithya. Everything Mithya. Really they are not there, but they continue to be there throughout the life. Thought will be there, and body will be there, and everything will be there. Hunger and thirst. They say, if everything is Mithya, hunger is Mithya. Yeah, we say hunger is Mithya. Then why in the evening I will see you will go to the dining hall and eat. Then if hunger is Mithya, then why are you going there? Well, then the eater also is Mithya, I said. The hungry person is equally Mithya like a hunger. Right? So therefore, ultimately, Chidabhasa is basically the Jiva. Alone he is a hungry. Atma has nothing to do with hunger and thirst. That is how in Chandogya Upanishad very beautifully discussed in the Prajapati Vidya, while giving a description of the Brahman, Ashanaya Pipase Rahitaha, which is free from Ashana and Pipasa. Ashana means hunger, Pipasa means thirst. Basically, I am free from hunger and thirst. Chidabhasa has a hunger, Chidabhasa has a thirst, etc. But Swami, Chidabhasa cannot have a hunger and thirst. Hunger and thirst belongs to the ultimately prana. That's what a Chidabhasa is. Chidabhasa has all the attributes from either from the Atma or either from the Anatma. It has nothing of its own. That's what I say. It is really not an entity, but it will remain throughout the life. It will remain. And that is how Jnani also, that Chidabhasa is there. Right? That's how he says, well, I want to eat now and I will do that and I will go there, and all this is what? Who will go? So if all pervading consciousness goes anywhere, it cannot go. So basically, Chidabhasa continues. Well, continue. Even after understanding, that is called Badhita Ahankara. In our technical language, they call Badhita Ahankara. Ahankara or the Chidabhasa, which is Badhita, which has been definitely, which we have understood as a mithya, but that continues to be there, like sunrise, sunset, or like blue sky, or like twinkle stars, or like any other thing, like the movement of the sun. Everything continue to be there, even though reality it is not. In reality, it is not there. In reality, could you follow? Everything is like blue ocean, etc. also continues to be there. There is no blue ocean, but still that blue ocean will be there throughout. And so now, after even understanding properly, well, this is how. So anyway, so basically a difference, so Mayikam, from the standpoint of this original, the consciousness, limitless consciousness, they cannot be counted, and that's how we have removed, we have negated them. We call it Bhagatyaga Lakshana. We'll have to take a implied meaning. There is no way out, because a direct meaning of a Tvam-pada and direct meaning of a Tat-pada, well, cannot bring the identity, and therefore we'll have to jump the direct meaning. That means basically Jiva means that individual with all these attributes, and Ishvara also is also having a certain attributes which are just opposite to that Jiva's attributes. Well, there cannot be identity, and so we will have to jump the direct meaning of both Tatpada and Tvam-pada. We have to jump Vachyartha of Tatpada and Tvam-pada and bring Lakshyartha. When a direct meaning does not make a sense, they say, when a direct meaning does not make a sense, you will have to go for implied meaning. That is how it is. Anyway, so yatra dvaitam iva bhavati, etc. Well, of course, everything ultimately, what you find, everything is ultimately a mithya. This duality, this body, this subtle body, that subtle body, that jiva, this jiva, and you find several differences, and that is all duality. Well, all is mithya. Basically, all that is there is one limitless consciousness, and that is how even the Upanishad negates and shows the mithyatvam of this creation, the duality, and the creation which has a duality. So, well, same like, difference in a dream world are relevant as long as you are in a dream individual. But when you wake up, well, from the standpoint of waker, all these differences are resolved. Same way in a waking world, you find so many differences. Waker is different, this jiva is different, that jiva is different, etc. And you find several things, and you consider that all the differences are there in the waking world, but they are there, because still I am in a dream. If I just wake up further, I gain the knowledge, then definitely I will realize that all there is just one consciousness. Like what all that is there in the dream world, dreamer and the dream world is nothing but just one waker. Same way, here also in the waking world, whatever there is one thing alone, that is limitless consciousness. That is the reality, and therefore there is no a difference between Jiva and Ishvara in essence. So differences get resolved. All 8 factors are mithya. Shariradi avidyakam, which is born of avidya, born of Maya. So, well, Sharira Adi. So, Sharira, Manaha, Buddhi, etc. all. So, well, born out of Maya, comparable to the dream world. Whatever is there in the dream world is, we can call it as a avidyakam, born of avidya, avidya of the waker. That is how once the waker goes to the deep sleep state, then only this arises. And therefore it is called avidyakam, mayikam. Same way, here also in the waking world, it is same thing. So, Budbud Vata Ksharam. So basically, all these universes and all these bodies, etc., they are perishable. And so, we have seen that before also. In verse number 9, it has come that whole cosmos is like a bubble. And from the standpoint of this infinite consciousness, this all is ksharam. Ksharam is fleeting. Fleeting means like, and they give an example, Budbuddha. Budbuddha means a bubble. So it just arises and goes. And that's how the whole universe arises in this consciousness, like this. Well, basically, I am like water, in which all this bubbles arise, and these bubbles are nothing but the universes. All this, and so big universe. You can imagine how from these galaxies, thousands and thousands of galaxies are there, and that there is a Milky Way galaxy. In that also there are several solar systems, several stars, and every star and one star is that sun, and sun also has their own planets, and one of the planet is this earth, and on earth also I am in the United States, and why not, and in that United States in one place, and so body is just a speck. This body is just not even a speck in this universe. Well, anyway, so why do you want to claim this a dot of a matter as yourself? This is all dot of matter, just matter, everything matter. So don't consider a dot of matter as yourself, and all the time like a frog, trying to become bigger and bigger. So some people cannot become bigger in intellectual, then they keep mustache bigger. So, what in India, here I don't find, but some people in India, they all the time do like this and make the mustache bigger. And sometimes people, yes, there is ego, which has no existence. Ego means this Chidabhasa, no existence at all, nothing of its own but claim everything. That's the definition of ego. Nothing of its own, but claim everything of its own. That's called ego. That is how the ego is, and for that ego, everybody is trying a lot. But to make ego is the samsari's lakshanam. What is the characteristic of samsari? Making ego bigger. Making ego bigger. Identify with the mind, consider it as a self, and then make the mind or intellect bigger. Get more knowledge, and show to the world that you are bigger in knowledge, etc., etc. And somebody, a physical body, somebody in terms of something else. So, ultimately, so they are all mithya, basically, all these bodies, etc. Mithya, they are not your intrinsic nature. That's what I want to convey. Mithya means they are not your intrinsic nature. Chidabhasa is not your real nature, because they leave you and go. They leave you and go. That's how we have negated. You are not able to negate. You want to keep it with yourself, or you want to consider them as yourself. But they leave you and go. They arrive you and they go away also, and leaving behind you. So before they arrive, you are there, and once they depart, you are there. Therefore, you are not that. Physical body, a dot of matter, is there only in the physical, in the waking world. It is not there later. Subtle body is there in the, part of the subtle body, not even the entire subtle body, part of subtle body in the dream world. That also goes away. And in deep sleep state, you definitely don't have that. But Swamiji, then Karana Sharira should go away. Imagine, some person asked me also, then Karana Sharira should go away. Karana Sharira should not remain. Where everything will resolve. This Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, where will it resolve in the deep sleep state? Where will it resolve? It will resolve in the cause, from where it has come. And the Karana Sharira only from where it has come. We have seen that in Panchadashi. Ultimately, from the Karana Sharira alone has come subtle body and physical body. And therefore at the time of a deep sleep state, where it should go? It should go into the cause. And therefore, therefore Karana Sharira, well, they say why Karana Sharira should be there. Karana Sharira will remain, sir. Karana Sharira will remain all the time? Yeah, all the time. When it began, I told you it is beginningless. And it will remain throughout, it will remain throughout. Then what is the difference between Atma and Karana Sharira? So Atma also is eternal. And our Karana Sharira also is eternal. No. No. Both are beginningless. But one ends. And other does not end. That's all. When you gain knowledge, and when of course your prarabdha etc. is over, the Karana Sharira also resolves. Till then it will be there. So even pralaya also it will be there. That is how all your karmas and etc. where will it resolve in pralaya? All your vasanas, where will it resolve? They should go in through a Karana Sharira. So definitely consciousness identified with this Karana Sharira is this Jiva. Jiva in unmanifest state in pralaya. So I had given you the definition of the three, while defining three bodies I have told you. The physical body has a shortest span of life. Subtle body has a bigger span of life. From creation to resolution. And from entire cycle of creation it will remain. And causal body will remain even in pralaya. Where all your karmas, when you got the bodies and everything, you did several karmas and several vasanas, where because again when the creation will come, you are required to gain body etc. So it should resolve, it should remain in unmanifest condition. That is the unmanifest. Karana Sharira is called unmanifest because of that. I have told you that thing. Karana Sharira is called Avyaktam and Avyakritam and Maya and Prakriti and etc. Vidya. Anyway, so deep sleep state is a very, very important experience to understand lot about ourselves. So, Sthula and Sukshma Sharira, Indriyas and Pranas, and Prana means Pranas are there, basically identification with the Pranas are not, but they all resolve. Prana should remain, otherwise the subtle body will live. So, Prana has to keep a connection between this gross body and a subtle body. The connection between gross and subtle body is through prana. So that should remain because your prarabdha is still there. Prarabdha is under suspension in the deep sleep state. Prarabdha is over at the time of death and then prana has to live. But here in the deep sleep state, prana has to be there. Because you will have to wake up in the same body because your prarabdha is still there to experience in the waking state or in a dream state. So definitely, so you should be there and so if subtle body lives, well, the jiva also will not be there in this gross body. Definitely, because it's Chidabhasa. So anyway, so what I am saying is, all this gross body, subtle body, indriya, mind, senses, everything, they come, they appear before you and they go away also. And that's good. Bhagavan has given them as instruments. And so we utilize those instruments in a given state of experience. And definitely, once that job is over, there is all living behind you. And therefore, you are not mind, you are not subtle body, you are not gross body, etc. etc. And so, don't take that dot. But Swamiji, what about Chidabhasa? Chidabhasa also resolves. Chidabhasa also goes away. Abba. And therefore, I am not Chidabhasa. In absence of Chidabhasa also I exist. But how can you say in deep sleep state Chidabhasa is not there? If Chidabhasa is there, you will have a sense of localization. Because Chidabhasa is a localized thing. Chidabhasa has a location. Jiva has a location. That is this body. And therefore, in a deep sleep state, if you have a sense of localization that, well, oh, I am sleeping on this bed during deep sleep state, you have that kind of a thing, then definitely, well, you can say that Chidabhasa is there. But if you don't have you are there but you don't have a sense of localization or you don't have a limitation, then definitely you should tell. Because I have told you in the morning, limitations are due to taking Chidabhasa as oneself, and sense of localization also is based on taking Chidabhasa as oneself. So I am there in the body when you say that I is nothing but Chidabhasa. Well, you say, I am having all these limitations. That is nothing but Chidabhasa. Because Chidabhasa is this, which is nothing but endowed with all these three bodies that are the reflecting medium. And therefore, all the limitations of the three bodies ultimately belong to Chidabhasa also. So, in the deep sleep state, neither you have a sense of limitation, neither you have a sense of limitation is there, then deep sleep state will be the horrible state. Horrible state. You have a sense of limitation and you don't have objects to enjoy to remove the sense of limitation. You can imagine what will be the situation. At least in waking state, I am feeling discomfort. At least I can put one chocolate in my mouth and become happy. And and I can talk to somebody or I can sing one song and become happy. In deep sleep state, nothing is there. And the sense of limitation is there. Horrible thing. Nobody would like to go to deep sleep state. So you don't have a sense of limitation. When you get up, you say, very nice, I enjoyed sleep. And therefore, a sense of limitation centered on the self is not there. Therefore, Chidabhasa is not there. Sense of localization is not there. In fact, when you get up, sometimes you feel, where are you? Where am I? It has happened to me several times. Where am I? Whether I'm in India or in United States, it has happened. Honestly, I'm telling you. And it must have happened to you also. So that shows that a sense of localization is not there. Well, Chidabhasa is not there. Chidabhasa is gone. And therefore you are not Chidabhasa. You are not Chidabhasa. Let the Karana Sharira be there in deep sleep state. It has to be there. Otherwise, where will this gross body and subtle body will resolve? Where will it resolve? In deep sleep. So Karana Sharira is the one which has given a butt to them. Well, at the time of resolution, any effect will resolve into its cause. And therefore, definitely, well, that is, so I'm not Chidabhasa, I am not reflecting mediums, and that is how we have negated them. Out of Jiva and Ishvara, we have negated four factors. That is due to this reason, because that is not your nature. You want to hold on to that, and and getting suffered also. We don't want to see you suffering. Your face, etc., reveal that you are suffering a lot, and I am out of compassion. We definitely throw the things which causes you suffering. Well, you are limitless consciousness, your fullness. That is fullness. That is get expressed in the moment of joy. In moment of joy, your awareness about your own bodies are also not there. Honestly speaking, ecstasy, a joy in which definitely you are not aware of your physical body also. And that is why if somebody takes a picture and show you that how you are laughing at that moment. And if you see it, you are so looking ugly with all your teeth out in the joy. And moment somebody shows the face, now next time onwards you will take care that you won't laugh that way. And then you will not get full joy also. Full joy comes when you enjoy that freedom. Freedom from the limitations of the bodies and attributes of the bodies. And that is what your nature is. And so we have negated through Mahavakya, and limitless consciousness is your nature. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Hello Swamiji, I have a question.